This is Keith Sports News KSN. Hey guys, welcome to KSN episode 102, as well as the second episode of the year. And I can't believe it's already January 13th as I'm recording and releasing this. I can't believe it. It's already almost halfway of January. What the heck? It's been a fast start. Tuesday. I know at the end of the last episode I said I'm hoping to be back on Monday, but I completely forgot that there was a Monday Night Football game, wild card game, and that's why I'm wearing the shirt. NFL logo. This is actually the old logo. I think I mentioned this before, but it's been a while. This is actually the old logo. It looks just like the current logo, but you notice the old logo has more stars on the shield, the logo, compared to today's. Today's NFL logo has 8 stars, 4 on each side. Why did they change that? Well, I know why. It's because there are a total of 8 divisions in the NFL. 4 in each conference. 4 in the AFC, 4 in the NFC. That's the reason why there are 8 stars, 4 on each side. But to be honest, I like this one more. I like more stars. It just looks right. Hey, remember this hat? My US hat, yeah. Look at that. Got stars right here. The back has the American flag, more stars on there. And it's got this shield with more stars on it. Yeah, you notice I wear this hat a lot because it's really cool. And this year, I don't know if I said this in episode 100 or 101, but this year is a huge year for USA sports because the Winter Olympics, which begins less than a month from now in February, and then not too long after the Winter Olympics is the World Baseball Classic in March, which I think I'm still going to a game in Houston. I'll talk more about that when that comes closer. And in the summer, the World Cup of football. Yeah, I said football, not soccer. It's really called football because you kick it with your foot. It makes sense, right? Yeah, all that in 2026. Amazing. Go USA. That's right. So yeah, I'll be wearing that hat a lot again throughout this year. I actually got that hat for the 2024 Summer Olympics. If you're wondering when I got that hat, that's when I got it. That's what I got it for. And yeah, it just looks really cool. To be honest, I wish this cap is Team USA's cap for their baseball team. Yeah, I think it just looks cool in my opinion. All right, so we're still in January. Pretty much nothing but football talk because it's playoff month. Playoffs? Winter playoffs in the winter? Coldest month of the year? Yeah, I know. I don't know about you, but I always find it kind of weird that the NFL playoffs are always in the month of January, which is like the coldest month of the year. Isn't it weird? You have the playoffs in the coldest month of the year in January? Well, I guess that's why home field really matters. The weather. All right? But before we talk about the NFL playoffs, let's get into the college football CFP Semifinals. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I got my own text so that you know what I'm talking about. All right. Oh, you see the clock behind me? Yeah, that's the time. Almost 1 a.m. as I talk, because I usually record these episodes right before I go to sleep. All right. So, CFP Semifinals recap. So it was the first game was on Thursday evening, the Fiesta Bowl between Ole Miss and Miami, right? Or Miami and Ole Miss. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit were on the call. I honestly thought they would call the other semifinal game because it's the number one team in the country, Indiana. But I think I know why they didn't call that game. It's because Kirk Herbstreit, who also calls Thursday night football games on Amazon Prime, he called an NFL Saturday night game. So it makes sense why Kirk wasn't at the Friday night game, because that's like his traveling day and his resting his voice day. It makes sense. That has to be the reason why he wasn't at the second semifinal game. So this first one, Fiesta Bowl, most people, including myself, originally had Ohio State versus Georgia in this semifinal match. I don't think many people had Ole Miss against Miami in their brackets in the semifinals. I kind of wish it was Ohio State and Georgia, because those are the two big-time football programs, but at the same time, I guess it's kind of cool to see different football programs in the playoffs for a change in the semifinals. So I think I picked Miami. I'm pretty sure I picked Miami. I wanted Miami to win only because, well, really the main reason why I wanted Miami to win is because I did not want Ole Miss to win. And the main and only reason why I didn't want Ole Miss to win was because they don't have their coach, Lane Kiffin. It would just be so weird if Ole Miss is in the national championship without their head coach. I mean, it's so stupid, you know. I don't like that, where a coach just leaves the team, go to a different program, and then you become that football program's head coach, in this case, LSU. What was my reaction when he became the LSU head coach? To be honest, I had no reaction. I mean, I heard that he was going to be in the capital city of Louisiana. And he became the head coach, and I was like, oh, okay. He's the head coach now. That was it. I was not excited. It's not like I didn't want him to be the LSU head coach. We're going to give him a chance, you know. Come on now. To be honest, when Brian Kelly became the LSU football head coach, I was actually kind of excited. It's like, oh my gosh. He left Notre Dame after all these years. Oh yeah, come on down to South Louisiana. So, but why couldn't Lane Kiffin finish this season with Ole Miss? I don't like that. This is the problem. This is one of the problems with college football nowadays. It's not what it used to be. Players opting out of bowl games, players getting paid a ton of money. Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it wasn't like that before the COVID year. Well, it was like that. This started to become a thing like recent years, but like go back over 5 years ago, man. It wasn't like that. I heard that everyone's a free agent. I'm like, what the freak? Like, and like lately, or really last week, the week before, and the week before that, I've been getting Pete Thamel news notifications on players that I've never heard of. I'm like, oh my gosh, another news, this player going to the transfer portal? Like, I've had enough. I've had enough of that. I mean, shout out to Pete Thamel. Seriously, for covering all this. I listened to his podcast with Reese Davis, the college football podcast, so I'll have to listen to their thoughts on the semifinals and previewing the championship. Gotta be honest, I don't really enjoy college football as much as I used to because of all this craziness, this behind-the-scenes drama. At least the game itself is still entertaining. Thankfully, you're not changing rules like the CFL. They're going to be changing their rules to their game. Not looking forward to that. Well, I guess I am in a way, but anyways. All right, you get what I'm saying. Back to the game. Ole Miss against Miami here. So ESPN, they'll have the games on like 5 different versions. You got the main version on ESPN. You got the Pat McAfee Show Field Pass on ESPN2. You got the Skycast on ESPNU. You get the Ole Miss radio broadcast on SEC Network. You get the Miami radio network on ACC Network. And then the Command Center, I believe, is on ESPN News. So, in this case, holy crap, 6 different networks has the game. It's like this every year. It's really cool. You get to pick your own version. I usually pick the Skycast on ESPNU because it's like the sounds of the stadium, the sounds of the game, no announcers. You get to hear the sound of the stadium. It's like you're there in the game with the fans. I like that. And I get to hear the marching bands in the background. I've always liked the marching bands. All right? Now, I do like Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. They are a fantastic broadcast team, but I can always watch the highlights of that game with them calling that game. You know what I'm saying? So I had the Skycast coverage the entire time. The only downside is that I wish, you know how during halftime they'll have both marching bands perform? Well, I wish they can show that on their, the Skycast ESPNU network. But no, they have to show commercials. Yeah, the halftime show is pretty much the same for the main ESPN networks, which, yeah, it had Reese Davis, Desmond Howard, and the GOAT, Nick Saban. Those guys are great. So, but I would kind of wish I could hear the marching bands, perform at halftime. But anyways, I wanted Miami to win, mainly because I did not want to see Ole Miss in the National Championship. All right. So let's see here. This game was close. I had a feeling it would be close. It was a great game. So first quarter, not much happened, not much scoring, but the second quarter got a couple of touchdowns for Miami. Ole Miss scored a touchdown and 2 field goals, so Miami's up 17-13 at halftime. Not much happened in the third quarter. Ole Miss kicked a field goal, 17-16. Heading into the fourth quarter, Ole Miss kicked another field goal to take the lead, 19-17. All right, and the fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter was pretty crazy. Miami got a touchdown with about 5 minutes left as they took the lead. I'm surprised they didn't go for the 2-point conversion, because had they gone for 2 and they made it, they would have been up 25-19. You're up by 6. You're up by 6 points, but instead they just kicked the extra point, up by 5 points, 24-19. And then Ole Miss scored a touchdown, and they get the 2-point conversion. So they're up by 3, 27-24. So then I'm like, okay, maybe Miami will kick perhaps a game-tying field goal. But no. Went down the field with 18 seconds left. Carson freaking Beck, the quarterback for Miami, scored a touchdown. Miami took the lead, and they wound up winning 31-27. I did a quick, short reaction of me watching the end of that game. So congratulations, the Miami Hurricanes, heading not only to the national championship game, but they're also heading home. Heading home. Yes, the national championship will be in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. That is amazing. What a story. Now to the second game, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Now, pretty much every year I usually get Chick-fil-A for this bowl game. It's kind of became a tradition for me. I've been doing that for years. Did another short KSN update short of that. And I did pick Indiana to win after they blown out Alabama, and Oregon shut out Texas Tech. Kind of surprising. Okay, this is a rematch, right? Indiana did beat Oregon in Eugene in the regular season. So they say it's hard to beat the same team twice in the same season, but I was pretty confident that Indiana can beat Oregon again, but I was not expecting this one-sided matchup. I missed like the first half of the first quarter because I was getting my Chick-fil-A, but I listened to some of the game on SiriusXM on my way back to the house. And I did not know that Indiana, on the first play, Indiana got a pick 6 interception return. Holy crap. That is so rare. First play, you threw an interception, returns it into the end zone for a touchdown just like that. Indiana up 7-0. But then Oregon tied the game up at 7 apiece. So I'm like, okay, I think this game might be closer. But then after that, it was just all Indy freaking Anna. My gosh, they scored a bunch of touchdowns. It's crazy. And the game sounded like an Indiana home game. There was a lot more Indiana fans than Oregon fans. Wow. Seriously. Indiana scored 4 unanswered touchdowns, 35-7 at halftime. Yeah. And I think they got the ball. Yeah. Because I mentioned the first play of the game, Oregon threw an interception, meaning Indiana gets the ball at the beginning of the second half. And geez, they just drove down the field again. They got another touchdown, 42-7. Oregon did get a touchdown, a second touchdown, and a 2-point conversion to make it 42-15. But there was just it was just like, no way Oregon's coming back. Indiana scored 2 more touchdowns in the fourth quarter, 56-15, and then Oregon scored a late touchdown with 22 seconds left, 56-22, the final. See, it's always kind of that when the losing team scores a late touchdown, even though they have no chance to come back, that's always kind of awkward to watch. It's always kind of awkward to see, oh man, this team's down by 41 points, and then they score a touchdown with 22 seconds left. It's like, obviously, that kind of touchdown, the crowd had no reaction. But wow. Indiana, with a dominant win, won this game by 34 points. That's almost just as much as when they beat Bama by 35. Indiana remains undefeated, 15-0. They're going to try to become the first team to go 16-0 in the playoff era ever. They'll be taking on the 10 seed Miami, 13-2. Wow. How about Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner? You know what? I did not watch the Heisman ceremony. And I didn't even listen to his speech. I'm going to have to listen to Fernando's Heisman speech before National Championship game. Yeah. And he's actually kind of entertaining the way he talks. I watched Scott Van Pelt, SportsCenter. He was at the stadium, so that's great. Not just the Monday night football games. He was there. Him and Reese Davis, wow, those guys, they've been around for a long time. And they had Fernando in the middle talking to Scott and Reese, and then Fernando, he's just, man, he's like ready for the NFL. He will be the number one pick. I'm confident he will be the number one pick of the draft. So that means the number one team in the draft is going to be the Vegas Raiders, not the New York Jets. Jets. I mean, like, how many times the Jets had a number one pick, quarterback after another, you know? I don't know who's going to be the new Raiders head coach. Now that Pete Carroll's gone, you know. But Pete's time is probably up. He's, 74? You know. I mean, he became the oldest NFL coach in history. But it's so weird that he was with the Raiders for only one season. And then he's gone. Fired. He really could have or should have stayed with the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know why he stepped down. I forgot why, but dang. Maybe John Harbaugh, former Baltimore Ravens head coach. What if he becomes the new Raiders head coach? I have no idea. We're going to find out eventually. But I'll be surprised if somehow the Raiders don't pick Fernando Mendoza to become their quarterback. So, yeah. Miami versus Indiana. I'll give you my predictions, I guess, in the next episode of KSN later this week. The championship game is on Monday, January 19th, which is Martin Luther King Day. Just like last year's. Last year's, it was also on Inauguration Day. But I always find it weird that the national championship game is on a Monday night. It always has been like that, just like the March Madness championship. Like, why is it always on a Monday night? Now, I know college football is usually... Now, Saturday night is usually college football night, but they can't have it this Saturday night because of the NFL playoffs. I understand that. But I think it's better if they have it on Friday night. You know, there was a semifinal game on Friday night. So maybe the championship game should also be on a Friday night. What's going to happen on Friday night? This upcoming Friday night. It's just going to be another night for the NBA and NHL, college basketball. You know? Because, you know, they had to compete with the NFL playoffs. They have no choice, you know? So I think it would be better if the College Football National Championships on a Friday night. Because my number one favorite sports podcast, you know I listen to a lot of these podcasts. My number one favorite is Mad Dog Unleash, Christopher Russo on Sirius XM. He likes to complain about the schedule. Sometimes I complain about it too. But every time he complains about the schedule, I usually agree with him. You know? He said that the championship game should be on a Friday night instead of Monday night. Because we have 4 amazing NFL divisional round games. And then oh man, after watching all 4 of those, now we get the College Football National Championship? Yeah, I understand his take. I think it should be on a Friday night. I don't know what are they having big happening this upcoming Friday night. I guess they wanted the players to get another couple of nights off because it's the championship game. It's like the Super Bowl. You get that extra week off. Because after the conference championship game, you have to wait 2 weeks for the Super Bowl. Which I guess I don't mind that because it'll come up fast before you know it. Although this year, I kind of do mind because the Super Bowl is going to be on the same weekend as the beginning of the Winter Olympics. I don't really like that, but it is what it is. All right, so that is my CFP Semifinals recap. Now let's talk about the NFL wildcard recap. Should we play, oops. Oh, excuse me. I meant to move this. Should we play some more NFL music? Yeah, let's do it, because it's the playoffs. Alright, more NFL primetime music. Because these soundtracks never get old. Alright, so last Saturday was the first NFL wildcard game. NFC, LA Rams at the Carolina Panthers. This was a surprise. I did not watch this game at all because I thought for sure the LA Rams would win this game easily. They did win, but it was only by 3 points. The Panthers put up a fight against the Rams. The Rams they're 12-5. Panthers are 8-9. That's so unusual. A team with more losses than wins the division, and they get to host a playoff game. Some people have a problem with that. I get why they have a problem with it. Does that bother me? No, not really. It's just so rare whenever this happens, I guess. But LA Rams, weren't they like a 10 or 10.5 point favorite? I thought they would win by maybe 2 touchdowns, but no. The Rams, they did score the first 2 touchdowns, 14-0, so I think most were like, uh-oh, this could be a beating. But no. Carolina, they fought back 17-14 at halftime. Panthers did tie it at 17 apiece. Rams got another field goal, 20-17. Heading into the fourth quarter, the Panthers took the lead, 24-20. Rams scored a touchdown, 27-24. With about 2.5 minutes left, the Panthers scored another touchdown to make it 31-27, and then the Rams scored a late touchdown with 38 seconds to go to make it 34-31. The fourth quarter was back and forth. I was surprised that the Panthers put up a fight, because I kind of thought that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than the Panthers, in my opinion, because I really thought the Buccaneers would win that division. Because, the Rams did face the Panthers in the regular season, and the Panthers somehow won that game. So I'm like, there's no way that's going to happen again in the playoffs. But, yeah, surprisingly, the Rams only won by 3 points. Matthew Stafford. He's on a podcast called Let's Go on SiriusXM with Jim Gray. I'll have to hear what he has to say about his game and his upcoming matchup. All right, the Saturday night game on Amazon Prime with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. The old rivalry. Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. I watched this game. This was a great game. A rematch. The third time. They faced each other not too long ago, which was on a Saturday night. I honestly thought this would be the Sunday night game. Because, it's Packers and Bears. Big old rivalry. I honestly thought this would be the Sunday night game because of that, because they already played on a Saturday night. But that's okay, I guess. The game's in Chicago once again. And the Bears, I remember they scored a field goal first. 7:02 left in the first quarter, which was their opening drive. Yeah, they took a lot of time of the game clock by going down the field. Too bad they only got a field goal. I mean, that's better than nothing, but that would have been nice if it was a touchdown. Yeah, I wanted the Bears to win because they haven't had a playoff win in over 10 years, right? Somehow I think the Packers were the slight favorite to win this game, which is kind of surprising. Because the Bears did beat the Packers a couple of weeks ago, right? In Soldier Field. This rematch was also in Soldier Field. Two of the oldest stadiums, Lambeau Field and Soldier Field, right? That's why it's a big old rivalry. But then the Packers, they scored 3 unanswered touchdowns, and I'm like, uh-oh. 21-3 at halftime. And I'm like, I wonder if the Bears can make a comeback. Wasn't quite sure. Also, Caleb Williams. Is it just me, or does he look smaller or shorter than his height? I looked him up. He's, 6'1"? I don't know why. On TV, he looks like he's 5'11". I don't know why. I guess it's the way the cameras are pointing at him. Or maybe there's just so many big NFL players nowadays. They're like monsters. Because Caleb Williams looks kind of little compared to these other big boys. Alright. Bears did get 2 more field goals to make it 21-9. Down by 11, which is 2 scores. They did score a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 21-16. Down by 5. The Packers did score a touchdown. And 27-16. They missed the PAT. Somehow they missed the PAT. So instead of 28-16, it was 27-16. So down by 11 again. I'm like, I don't think the Bears can make a comeback. I know they made quite a bit of comebacks this season, but I don't know. I just didn't really see that happening. I did pick the Bears to win this game, so that's one of the reasons why I was rooting for them. All right, and the Bears did score a touchdown with the 2-point conversion, down by 3. So, wow, they're back in this. All of a sudden, the Bears are back in this game. This game might go into overtime. No, they scored another touchdown. And the crowd went crazy. Bears took a 31-27 lead. Packers, last chance, they had plenty of time. And they drove down the field the remaining of the game, regulation, and they were getting closer to the end zone. I'm like, uh-oh. They need a touchdown, and it looked like they were going to get a touchdown. But no, the Bears were able to hang on and get this big comeback win, 31-27. It's about time the Bears won a playoff game. And after that, here's what's interesting. This just popped in my mind. The game was on Amazon Prime, right? This game was shown on the Chicago local network on Fox. Yeah. Because I have Amazon Fire Stick, and I have one of those illegal apps that my brother got me, all thanks to him. That's how I became a CFL fan. Because, I have the TSN channels. That's how I love watching the Canadian Sports Center. And yeah, Fox Local Chicago, they showed the Amazon Prime game. So that's awesome. Because Amazon Prime, you have to pay for that. But the fact that they showed that game, Amazon Prime game, on their local Fox network is awesome. Meaning they get it for free. And somehow I get it for free too. And after the game ended, I did listen to the Chicago local Fox post-game show, which lasted 2 hours. That's crazy. So yeah, I was pretty entertained on that. Big win for the Bears. We have a triple header on Sunday. The first game was the Buffalo Bills at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I missed the first half, but I tried to watch some of it. This third, mainly the fourth quarter. And I had a feeling this game would be close. I had a feeling this game would go either way. And if you watch my me filling out my bracket on my main channel, I made 2 brackets. One of them I had Jacksonville advancing, and the other I had Buffalo advancing. I was sort of leaning more towards Jacksonville because they've had that crazy... How many games they won in a row? I have no idea now, but they were the hotter team. I wanted Buffalo to win. That's the team that I want to see go back or win the Super Bowl. I really want to see an AFC team win it, because for once, it's not going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, It's going to be a different AFC team for a change. This game was close, and I'm not surprised that this game was close. Buffalo, they had a lot of closer wins. It was back and forth. Fourth quarter, both teams scored touchdowns. Josh Allen, apparently he hurt his hand by throwing the ball. It hit one of his teammates' helmets. That's gotta hurt. And hopefully he'll be okay, because the Buffalo Bills did wound up winning 27-24. They got a late touchdown with about a minute left, and then Trevor Lawrence threw a pass down the field that turned into an interception, and that's how the Buffalo Bills won that game. Jacksonville had a great season. I'm so used to seeing the Jaguars, a failing team, so it's great that a team like them had finally gotten better. Kind of wish that was the AFC Championship. That would be a great AFC Championship game. Second game, your favorite team 5-tear, the San Francisco 49ers, at the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was pretty confident that the Eagles would win after what happened to the 49ers when they faced the Seahawks. And, this is a home playoff game for the defending Super Bowl champions. Tough environment. The thing is, it's when you win the championship, the next season, you're not as dominant. You're not as great. This is normal. And this game was pretty good. I didn't really watch much of it, to be honest with you, but I heard about this game. It was also kind of back and forth. 49ers actually have a better record than the Eagles. 49ers are 12-5. Eagles are, 11-6. But I was wondering, maybe the Eagles will start dominating the playoffs again like they did last year. But no, that did not happen. 49ers were able to stop them. That is a big win. 49ers won 23-19. And Eagles fans, don't be so disappointed because, y'all won the Super Bowl last season. It's not easy. Not only winning it back-to-back season, but going to it back-to-back seasons. Yeah. They're not as dominant as last season. So yeah, defending champions are out. We're going to have different teams in the Super Bowl for a change, so that's great. I'm sure America is happy about that. And then the game Sunday night, the LA Chargers at the New England Patriots. This was kind of weird that this was the Sunday night game. I believe this was New England's first home playoff game without Tom Brady. Is that correct? And NBC, they debuted a new score bug. I did a KSN short on that, because normally a network, they would debut a new score bug for whenever they're hosting the Super Bowl, but no, NBC decided to have theirs a little early. It looks nice. I was really confident that the Patriots would win this game. And it's weird. Back when the Patriots had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I was hardly ever rooting for them because that was their dynasty. For some reason, I was actually rooting for the New England Patriots. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's their first home playoff game without Tom Brady. Drake May played great. Yeah, it was only 16-3, but it was still a pretty entertaining game, especially when you have Mike Tirico on the call. I'm glad that Mike Tirico's finally going to call a Super Bowl this year. So Patriots won 16-3. And then the Monday night game. The Houston Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Texans were the favorite to win. I heard that they had a great defense. This was actually the game I was looking forward to the most because it had Aaron Rodgers and the final Manning cast. All right. So the Manning cast, they had J.J. Watt, the former Houston Texan defensive player, and then they had Big Ben Roethlisberger, the former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, who was with Mike Tomlin for many, many seasons. All right. I was pretty confident that the Steelers would win this game because it's another home playoff game. They just came out of a big win against their rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. And this game was close, low scoring. There was a lot of turnovers, I'll say that, and mainly for the Texans. Normally when a team has a lot of turnovers, they would wound up losing the game. All right. The first half was pretty sloppy. It was kind of cold and windy. Okay. Which is why I did pick the Steelers to win, I was rooting for them, which I hardly ever root for the Steelers. Another team that I never really liked, but I was rooting for the old guy, Aaron Rodgers. The Texans, they turned the ball over 3 times. And let's see here. Not much happened in the first half. 7-6. Texans. I didn't say 6-7. I said 7-6. No score in the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter, oh my goodness, it was all Texans. Turnovers after turnovers. Touchdown after touchdown. It got embarrassing. It really got embarrassing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 30-6, the final. It went from 10-6 to 30-6. So there you have it. That is my NFL wild card recap. All the games except for the last game, were great games. I was hoping that all the games would be fantastic. Had that be the case, this would be like the best wild card weekend ever. But now the divisional matchups, all 4 of these matchups are big matchups. Okay? So this might be I can see all 4 of these games be close games. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. But I'll talk about those games in the next episode. Be making my predictions and previewing those games, as well as the College Football National Championship. All right. Next, I want to talk about is Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin's future. What's next for them? I'm going to give you, I guess, what I think will be next for them. Starting off with Aaron Rodgers, the big question is, will he play next season? So, he was at the press conference. He wasn't really thinking about that, obviously. So that's the thing, you lose in the playoffs and they ask you that question, like, you're not thinking about that right now. You're thinking about, what happened? What happened out there, Why did they play so bad, so poorly, Someone asked him, do you think this is your last game? And then he responded, any game could be my last game, I think there's like a 50% chance that he'll come back. Do I want him to come back? Yeah, I actually do, because I've always liked him. Oh, yeah, he has like a weird personality, but this is Aaron Rodgers, the football player. All right. He could have been a Packer for life. Aaron Rodgers could have been a Green Bay Packer for life. When he went to the Jets, it was a disaster from start to finish. When he went to the Steelers, it was much better. They got to the playoffs, but they played pretty bad. He had a bad night. The team had a bad night. Yeah, Big Ben Roethlisberger was watching them struggling in the fourth quarter with the Mannings. It's hard to say if he'll come back next season. If he does come back next season, will he be with the Steelers? If not Rodgers, who's gonna replace you? Mason Rudolph, the backup quarterback? I think I heard that Jameis Winston is also with the Steelers. Is that true? Huh. I mean, Winston's kind of entertaining, but I don't know. He's 42. Not many quarterbacks play at that age. Although Tom Brady was 45. Tom Brady was 45 when he retired. Tom Brady was 43 when he won his last Super Bowl, his first one with the Buccaneers. I don't know. Hey, Phillip Rivers came out of retirement. That was so weird. Phillip Rivers, after what? Not playing for 5 seasons. Came out of retirement. He's 44. He's even older than Aaron Rodgers. So, I don't know. It's so weird. I guess the Indianapolis Colts, they begged Rivers to come out of retirement. Played a couple of games, and unfortunately they could not make the playoffs, and then now he's done. He's done playing. He's retired again, and now he has to wait 5 years to get into the Hall of Fame. That's stupid, in my opinion. Just because he came out of retirement and only played a couple of games, I think Aaron Rodgers will come back next season. I do want him to come back. I mean, it's not like he's getting destroyed every game. If that was the case, okay, yeah, your time's up. Your time is up. It's like a tennis player, You lose 6-1, 6-2, 2 again, in the first round every single tournament, yeah, your time's up. But hey, the Steelers, they somehow won 10 games. It's like, what would have happened if the Steelers were to lose their final regular season game against the Baltimore Ravens? What would have happened if the Baltimore Ravens played in that wild card game against the Houston Texans? Would it be a much closer game? I think it would be. If the Ravens were to win that game against the Steelers, John Harbaugh would still be the Ravens head coach. And I'm still surprised that they fired him after all these seasons. So now, after what happened to the Steelers on the wild card game, is Mike Tomlin going to get fired? If they fire him after all these seasons, what the heck? First Harbaugh, now Tomlin. Why? I don't like that when a coach gets fired after all these seasons. That also happened to Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. Although Oklahoma State was really, really bad this season. They had no conference wins. I mean, if they fire Tomlin, who are the Steelers going to get? They're not going to get Harbaugh, I'll tell you that. They're not going to get... Yeah, I know. The Steelers, they haven't won a playoff game in like 9 years? So I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers will play again. Mike Tomlin, I don't know. It's hard. After what happened to Harbaugh, Tomlin might be next to get fired. I don't know. We might get more head coaching carousels. Oh, by the way, quick thought. This just popped in my mind. Not too long after I released the last episode of KSN, Miami Dolphins, they fired Mike McDaniel. Now, Mike McDaniel, during the first half of the Dolphins season, they were really bad. People thought, including myself, thought that Mike McDaniel would get fired mid-season, kind of like what happened to Brian Dable with the New York Giants. But no. Somehow the Dolphins got slightly better in the second half of the season. And they weren't as bad as the first half, but still not really a good team. They decided to fire Mike McDaniel. It's interesting, they waited a couple of days after Pete Carroll and John Harbaugh got fired. I wonder why. I wonder why they waited a couple of days to fire Mike McDaniel. And this was only McDaniel's third season. So who are the Dolphins going to get? It's going to be interesting. John Harbaugh, I heard that he might become the next Falcons head coach. I can kind of see that. It's a weak division, He's going... Oh, yeah, they did say that he's not going to... Teams aren't going to interview him until after the wild card playoffs ended. So now that they're all ended, this is the week where he's going to be getting interviewed by these teams. I don't know who are the Raiders going to get. Rich Eisen said that Curt Cignetti, the Indiana football head coach, should go to the Vegas Raiders because he'll stay with Fernando Mendoza. Do I want that to happen? Sure, I guess. I don't mind. But at the same time, I'm kind of curious. I wonder what will Indiana football be like next season without Fernando Mendoza? You got to wonder, So, we're going to find out here. So there you have it. My recap of the CFP Semifinals, NFL wildcard recap. Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin's future. They might come back next season. Tomlin's been the head coach with the Steelers since 2007. One more season longer than John Harbaugh. Isn't that crazy, 5-Tayer? I know you're listening. Mike Tomlin's been the head coach with the Steelers since your birth year, the year you were born. Isn't that crazy? You know, it's like that with Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots. He was the Patriots head coach. Tom Brady was the Patriots quarterback the season before I was born, 2000. Wow. Oh, I heard that Bill Belichick got Bobby Petrino as the North Carolina offensive coordinator. So that's interesting. I thought, because, Bobby Petrino, he used to be the Arkansas football head coach the first time before he got into that, that motorcycle accident. Became the Louisville head coach, the Western Kentucky, I think. Then I think he also went to, I think he also became the head coach at Missouri State or something like that. And then this past season, Arkansas rehired Petrino as their offensive coordinator. And then unfortunately, Sam Pittman got fired. And Bobby took over as the Arkansas interim head coach, and he fired their defensive coordinator. And unfortunately, Arkansas could not get an SEC win. Their record is 2-10. They're like the best 2-10 team. They had a bunch of close losses. Barely lost to Ole Miss. Barely lost to Texas A&M. And I was wondering if Bobby Petrino would be the permanent Arkansas football head coach, but the answer is no. Arkansas, they let him go. Arkansas hired the Memphis head coach, Ryan Silverfield, which is kind of weird because Arkansas played against Memphis this season. They almost won that game too. I'm hoping that Arkansas and North Carolina will get better next season. What if that's the bowl game next season? Arkansas against North Carolina. I would have to watch that. I would have to watch that game. Speaking of bowl games, to be honest with you guys, I really didn't watch many bowl games this season. I usually do quite a bit, but this year, this was like the least amount of bowl games I watched. The only bowl games that I really got into watching are the playoff games. That's about it, because the reality is, I hate to say this, a lot of these bowl games, they don't really mean anything. When LSU was in the Texas Bowl, that game meant nothing for LSU. Lane Kiffin didn't coach that game. He was there. I was listening to their radio broadcast. He was actually in the booth as a special guest, but that game meant nothing. For once, I think I'm enjoying the NFL playoffs more than the college football playoffs. That's so unusual. I think I might like the NFL more than college football now. I can't believe I just said that. For years, I liked college football more than NFL. But now, the way things are going, it might be the opposite. Because I used to not like the NFL. It's around the COVID years. 2019, 2020, 2021. 2022 was the slight beginning. I started to come back. And then I kind of came back a little more over the next couple of seasons. And now this is the most I've kind of got into in a while. I will definitely watch the Super Bowl, okay? I will do a reaction right here on this channel, as well as the CFP National Championship game, all right? Here's, since we're in a new year of this podcast, here's a new segment that I want to bring every episode, and that is athletes' birthdays. Okay? Now, thankfully, the last episode, I did not find any famous people's birthdays that I know on the last episode of KSN. This is only for sports athletes, okay? Since this is a sports talk channel, I couldn't find anyone that I know, any sports athlete, famous birthdays. I would usually go to famousbirthdays.com or whatever it's called. I like to look up famous people's birthdays on people's birthdays that I know, like my parents' birthdays, my brother's birthdays, some of my friends' birthdays. Like, oh, you have the same birthday as this guy or this actor, this movie star, So, the last episode, I checked the date of when I released that episode, which was January the 8th. I could not find any famous sports athletes' birthdays that I know on that date. So I guess that's a good thing now that we can move past that now. But I did find someone who's very, very well known. Happy birthday to Connor McDavid. Yes, today is Connor McDavid's 29th birthday. Amazing. Connor McDavid turned 29. And he's been with the Edmonton Oilers since the 2015 season. Meaning he was only 18 freaking years old. Just like Connor Bedard with the Chicago Blackhawks. When he joined the Blackhawks, he was only 18. My gosh. Fresh out of high school, you're already a professional athlete? That's kind of crazy. Think about that. In hockey, that just shows you these Canadian players, they really, really grew up playing hockey. Let's read the famous birthdays article here for Connor McDavid about a versatile, I hope I pronounced that correctly, center who was selected first overall by the Edmonton Oilers in the 2015 NHL draft, He was named captain of the Oilers in October 2016, becoming the youngest captain in NHL history at 19 years and about 9 months old. In 2017, he won the Hart Trophy as the league MVP and the Ted Lindsay Award as the league's most outstanding player. Before fame, he played his minor league hockey with the York Simcoe Express and the Toronto Marlboros, then spent 3 years with the OHL's Erie Otters. Trivia. He played internationally with the Canadian under-18 team at the 2013 IIHF World U18 Championships. They have that every year, right? Helping his team capturing gold medal honors. Family life. He and his older brother Cameron were born to Brian and Kelly McDavid. He proposed to interior designer Lauren Kyle on June 22nd, 2023, after nearly 8 years of dating. They officially tied the knot in August 2024. Associated with, he was teammates with Dylan Strome on the Erie Oilers. Strome went third overall to the Arizona Coyotes in the 2015 NHL draft. Now, the Arizona Coyotes, as y'all know, they left Arizona after, I believe it was after the 2023 season, either 23 or 24. Then they moved to Utah, but they didn't have a team name yet. They were called the Utah Hockey Club. But this season they finally came up with a name, and they're now called the Utah Mammoth. So yeah, Connor McDavid, he was in the Stanley Cup final back-to-back years, although unfortunately they could not win it. I was hoping they would win it. I was cheering for them only because, well, really, a couple reasons. the main reason, Connor McDavid, because he's like the most popular NHL player. And number 2, a Canadian NHL team hasn't won the Stanley Cup in a long time. You know? Plus, I get their broadcast on Sportsnet, the Sportsnet Stanley Cup final broadcast. But Connor McDavid, he had that highlight. He scored the game-winning goal in last year's Four Nations face-off when Team Canada beat Team USA. That was something. He had his moment there. I'm hoping he can be in the Olympics. I think he will be. We'll see how that goes. NHL players are allowed in the Olympics, so that is fantastic. Finally, since 2014, the last time that happened? Hockey will be one of the main sports I'll be watching in the Winter Olympics because the NHL players are returning to that. USA and Canada, big rivalry. Looking forward to that. Thanks for listening to episode 1 and 2 of KSN. See you later this week. Have a good one. This has been KSN.